Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and today, it's been a few weeks, but we're going to get back on the Grapple build. So in the last video we left off, we finished making up these cylinder mounts, got them tacked up on the bucket, and tried putting our cylinder on, and found that our cylinder interfered with the mounts. So I had talked about making new mounts, but I don't think we're going to do that. I had a suggestion just to make some spacers and space the mounts apart, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So thank you for the suggestion, and we're going to get started on that. So the first thing I need to do is figure out what kind of spacers I'm going to make, how big of a space. And I have these 1-inch spacers that I have cut for the other side of the cylinder mounts that we haven't fabricated yet. So I'm just going to take a couple of these, stick them in there. They're 1 inch wide, and just kind of see what that looks like and see how the cylinder would react in there and see if that gives me enough room. So that definitely would give me enough room. I think that's too wide though. I don't think I want to go quite that wide. So I'm going to try making some 1/2 inch spacers and see what that looks like. So I like the way this looks with those 1/2 inch spacers in there. The cylinder fits down nice, and there's a little bit of room in between. The only concern I have is how much play I'm going to have in my pin and sleeve down here on this end. Am I going to be rocking this cylinder back and forth and actually coming in contact with these supports as things wiggle around? I really don't want to go too wide. I like the thinner look. So I think what we'll do is we'll end up taking these two supports, we'll get them mocked up on the bucket the way it is, and start building the other side here. And then once we get that kind of pinned together, we can see how much play there is and see if we need to widen this, because we can always take this back off the bucket and make it wider if we need to. Well, with those spacers in, that cylinder goes all the way down and touches the bucket now, which I think is great. I don't think it's ever going to extend that far. I'm not sure yet. But we got quite a bit of wiggle room before it contacts, so hopefully that spacing will be good. I think the next thing we need to do is start building this end where it's going to attach to the arm itself. Okay, so I got my two pieces of steel. I'm going to end up welding them together like this, creating a 90-degree, and then I'll end up welding these in the arms at whatever distance I need for my cylinder to mount up to. And then once those are welded in, I can work on getting supports made. That will end up sitting center on here, welding tight on the bottom and tight on the back. I'll end up making these taller so that these radiuses for the cylinder will clear this, so it'll probably end up being another inch and a half taller when I make my supports. We'll kind of lay that out. But I think our next step is to tack these two pieces together and probably start fabricating our cylinder supports. I think that looks pretty good. We can tack those in. Okay, that's looking real good, tacked in. Let's start fabricating some cylinder supports. So essentially this is what we're trying to create. We're going to make some supports here, but as you can see, the cylinder is hitting my back plate here. So I need to lift this up so I can get those supports back and get this radius to clear this back piece. And I think I'm going to do probably 1 inch taller. Got some of those 1-inch spacers here. And that looks like, yeah, that gives me about a 1/4 inch clearance underneath there, maybe a little less, but close to a 1/4 inch. And it gives me plenty of room for this to pivot without contacting. So yeah, I think we'll make these supports 1 inch taller than we made all the arm supports. So I got my 2 cylinder support pieces cut. That'll end up going there. The next step would be to drill these things for the pins. However, I have the drill press currently set up to drill the offset holes for the other side of the cylinder supports, the ones that attach to the bucket, the slanted ones. So I think what I'm going to do before I mess up that setting is I'm going to cut 2 more blanks for those and drill those out right away so I don't have to try to reset that up later. Okay, so we got our 2 holes drilled in our cylinder supports for the bucket side of the cylinder. And unfortunately, I wasn't thinking when I attached those to the bucket today. I probably should have made a template of those so I could transfer it onto these. So basically what I'll end up doing is once I get all this geometry figured out and before I weld that on, I'll just knock one of them off so I can trace it out on here so I can duplicate these 2 exactly the same as those other 2. Just an added step, but not a huge deal. And then I also decided, since I'm resetting up the drill press to make my other end of the cylinder support, I might as well make the 2 for the other side at the same time because I don't think that this setup with these supports and this angle is going to change. So I'm going to make all 4 of them at once. But that's where I'm probably going to have to end this one. And in the next one, we'll work on fabricating these up and getting the first 2 attached to this angle, and hopefully getting the angle attached to the arms and start figuring out where that's all going to lay out. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.